in this impromptu gathering, and thank you all for turning out here in support of surfing heritage. This is all really important. We're really happy to have in our midst tonight Copeland, who is a legend. And we also have among us many other people who have played significant roles in the sport and in the culture of surfing. And of course, that's why we're all here tonight. So, like I said, I had not counted on having to speak tonight. Ostensibly, we were here to celebrate Bing surfboards, the legends of Bing, and we were, obviously going to sell a few books if we could, and Bing and I were going to sign them, but really what we're doing on a Saturday night is just having a good time with surfers. That's all there is to it. So without further ado, I wanted to just tell you a little bit about this book. Bing Surfboards, 50 Years of Craftsmanship and Innovation. And for me as an author, it was kind of a cool thing because I've just written a book on Del Velzy. And Bing, of course, got his start in Velzy's workshop as a 13 or 14-year-old kid, sweeping up. And excuse me, I'm getting over a cold here. And doing things that, grown-ups get to do, run errands, get sandwiches, that kind of thing. That's how Bing got his start in the surfboard building industry. And he went on to create, a very successful surfboard label. It was my pleasure to work with him, get all of his stories, write the book, produce it. And the person that I was really most indebted to in that was Tom Moss, great photographer, and a collector of Bing surfboards, many of which are on display here tonight. Tom took all the surfboard pictures in the book and all the fin photos, and he's not much used to public speaking, but he has a great story about finding the, thank you so much. Finding the tiger stripe surfboard that is on display just behind that wall. And of course, that was kind of a signature of the Bing Surfboards label at that time in history. I'd like to bring Tom up to talk about how he found that surfboard. Tom Moss.
A lot of people here. Well, I'd like to say hello. My name is Tom, and I'm a big surfboard aholic. I don't know why or how I got into collecting so many big surfboards. Maybe it was because of Bing. I'd buy one and I'd send the pictures and we'd talk about it. And I learned a little more about the history and the people behind the surfboards and who shaped it and who wrote it. A little bit about the design. Then I'd buy another and we'd do the same thing. And as my collection grew, my enthusiasm grew, and my friendship with Bing grew. And I don't know, it's 8, 10 years, I'm losing track of it all now, and as I've lost track of the number of boards I have. People always ask me a whole bunch of questions. I don't go out and say, hey, I got the best Bing surfboard collection in the world, or anything like that. I don't say much about it, but when people do hear that I have all these surfboards, it's always kind of the same questions. I'll try to answer some of those questions now. How many do you have? When did you start collecting? And how much do they cost? What's the most valuable board? Are you still married? And that was one of the reasons why I thought, you know, I would never collect more than maybe one surfboard, one big surfboard. I wanted a replica of that 1967 lightweight I had way back when. And I always regretted selling that thing. And so, you know, that was really what I wanted out of all this. But, you know, things get carried away and you overcompensate sometimes. And that's what I did. So, and I watched many of my friends, or a few friends, crash and burn from collecting surfboards. Where the divorce, the loss of their children in the custody battle, loss of a nice vintage car in the garage or their boat, you know, as they paid off all these attorney fees and things like that. And I always said, I'm not going there. But somehow I've managed, and my wife and I get along great after all this. And I think I'm on the other side of it now. I still love my boards. I haven't got to the point where I say, I hate surfboards, they're all out of here. And that's what happens to some collectors eventually. Anyway, I was going to tell a story. Every one of these boards that I have,
how many do you have?
there's about 100 of them, I was going to say.
That's all I wanted to know.
There's actually more than that, but that's what I'm going to admit to.
How many wives do you have?
And every one of these boards has a story, not only my story, obviously, but obviously other people's stories. And you all who surf remember certain boards and certain days or places you surfed. Things that when you see that surfboard, it brings back those memories. It's amazing. And my memories right now of these boards are all part of that hunt and acquisition. And some of the stories are crazy. Everything from me breaking into houses to find the board that I bought because the seller was so flaky, you know, whatever, to you know, lawsuits. So I've been from one end to the other, but I want to tell you this one story about the tiger striped or Mexican blanket V-bottom we had. We had one in the book that was a beautiful board. It was a V-bottom, Australian V-bottom, that had a beautiful blue acid splash across the deck. It was really nice, but the one Bing really wanted in there was this tiger striped one that we'd seen a picture of years before. Someone had sent it to us, and it's on the website. And so I said, well, let's try to hunt this thing down. And I started working back, found the guy who had received the photo anyway, found the guy who had sold it, had owned it and sold it. But the problem was he would not give me the information about who he had sold it to unless I paid him some kind of commission or something. One of these wheeler-dealer board guys. So I said, well, I'm not paying anything for information, come on, you know. And so I went off surfing to Baja a month later, and the book's in production. I mean, they're still working on the draft and things like that. And I'm in Baja, and I get this email out of the blue. This guy writes us and wants to know a little bit about his surfboard, and it's that board. And so, and I said, where do you live? And he says he lives in the valley or something like this. And I said, well, I'm coming back from Baja. I'll stop by, and I'd like to take pictures of your board for this book that Bing's working on. So I get there, I get to this guy's house, beautiful neighborhood, big front lawns and trees on the streets, the houses are all kind of nice, really nice neighborhood. And I'm trying not to give anything away because about who this might be, but we get the board out, he opens this garage door, and it's just filled with surfboards. Hundreds of surfboards. Amazing surfboards. And we pull out the bin and stuff, and I have my 12-foot ladder with me that I acquired just for photographing some of our boards for the book. And so I'm up on this ladder, you know, I don't know, 12, my head's probably 15 feet up there, and I'm shooting this board. And his wife comes out, and she starts sort of fooling around in the garden there, and he kind of backs off a bit. He moves away from her, and he's getting a little bit of space. And between him and her, and I'm in the middle, there's a garage with all the boards and everything. And she's grumbling about something. I can't remember what it was, but she wasn't happy that all this is going on, surfboards and this. So I'm thinking, well, let's see what happens here, you know. And I said, hey, I'm Tom. Boy, I sure love your husband's surfboards. And I see he's got quite a few in there. I said, I bet you've heard all the stories. You know, oh, I got this one for half price, or I got this one in a trade, or this one was in a dumpster somewhere. These are great investments. Yeah, I bet you've heard all these stories. And she turns at him, just, looks at me, and I could just see her, blowing up. And she looks at him and explodes. We have no groceries, we can't afford gas, we spend all our money on damn surfboards, and she just goes, and she gets wound up, going more and more, louder and louder. She's screaming at him. I'm 15 feet up in the air watching all this happen, and he's just shrinking like this. And she's screaming, and I'm sure the neighbor's going to start coming out, the police will be coming. I thought she was going to kill him. And so I shot down to this guy, I don't know, Jack, whatever his name is. Jack, can I buy your board from you? Would that help? And he goes, well, how much are you giving it for it? I said, I'll give you whatever you pay for it. And he goes, it was $3 grand. I wonder what that one cost. I said, that's fine. I said, $3 grand. So I come down and I go to my car quickly and I write out this check, and she's still standing there. And I pick up this surfboard. I got my pictures. Pick up the surfboard. I jump in the car. And I skip away and go, Yahoo! What a great board! So anyway, that's one. There's every board. They all have great stories. We're lucky to have that one in the book. It's sure a beauty. I hope you'll see it. Enjoy the board.
Well, there you go. That's a great story. And I have to thank Tom Moss. Without Tom and his contribution, his collection, his wonderful photography, the book would not have been the same at all. And there were so many great stories that came out of this. So many great people contributed, in fact, because the Bing Surfboards book was a labor of, in many ways, a labor of love and a collaboration. Bing, myself, Tom Moss, Terry Krajewski, who was the initiator of the book, and a whole bunch of other people actually contributed in so many ways, including financially, to make it happen. And it's actually been probably more successful than any of us could have imagined. It's now in its second printing, for example, which is pretty extraordinary for a surfboard book. Most of them get remaindered and left in warehouses. But this one has gone on to be very successful, not least because Bing surfboards are still being made. And in that, there's another story, because a young man by the name of Matt Calvani took over the Bing surfboard label, and I'm going to bring Matt up. He's going to talk a little bit about that story.
Hi everybody. I guess I want to get all my thank yous out of the way first because I always forget. So I want to thank the Heritage Foundation, everything, Barry, and Con, and Paul, and everybody here. They did a beautiful job on laying everything out and kind of blending the old boards with the new boards. It's just a beautiful museum. And I'd like to thank Bing, of course, because without this I wouldn't have a job. but really, I've worked in this industry since 1984 now, and I've worked for a lot of different people, and basically everybody we work with is it's like a partnership, and some of them are good and some of them aren't so good. But I've been making things since 2000 now when I took it over, And honestly, like the partnership between Bing and I has been something special. It's like, he's a special person, and he was an amazing board builder and has a legacy that, you know, it just goes on, and that's what I wanted, that's what I wanted to be part of. So yeah, that's pretty much why I make Bing surfboards today. I had other choices, but I went with Bing. So, and I also want to thank my wife, because if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have everything paid for, and bills, and even resin or anything like that. So. And now we have a retail store in Acadia, and I want to thank Royce Chancellor for that. He's over here, and he's instrumental in making that happen. And he's taken on the license for Bing Apparel, and so we're selling Bing boards. The great thing about the store is that it's like a surf shop. I mean, it's like 50% or more surfboards. It's like you walk in there and you go, wow, this is like what surf shops should be like, you know. I mean, we gotta make money, but it's really a special thing, and I'm enjoying it, and it's a great place to just like go in there and, you know, you see all the boards, and people come in there and they want to talk about boards, and there's people that are educated and know about the models, and it's a good thing. It's not all about clothing. I mean, that's also necessary, but you know, some shops you go in and you go, is this a surf shop? Where's the boards? You know, so it's kind of cool. Let's see, am I forgetting somebody? Oh, Chris Del Moro. I gotta thank him, because he's super instrumental in the brand, and we've been forming the brand for what, like 6 years now or something. We've been working together, and with new models and longboard models and shortboard models and logos. So he's really instrumental in, you know, branding the brand to go further into the future and everything. And we're going to do a lot more. So many people I want to, you know, I can't remember everybody that I want to thank, you know, but that's pretty much, I want to thank everybody for being part of the brand. And thanks for coming. Enjoy it.
One of the things Matt didn't say is that, you know, he made a specialty of bringing back some of the classic Bing models from the late 60s and the early 70s, the transition era, which he at first faithfully reproduced as they were, you know, down to the glass jobs, which are exceptional, the shape jobs, which are fantastic. You guys are a fantastic shaper. And, you know, they've also taken the Bing surfboards into the modern era. One of the stories he didn't tell that I think is worth telling a little bit is that the way he got into this, he was shaping in the South Bay, and he was working with the son of Bing's former partner, Rick Stoner. And because of that, they've been making Rick surfboards and Bing surfboards, and he happened to meet up with Bing in person down in Mexico one time, and so he thought, oh shit, I'm gonna go talk to the guy. And he said, Bing, I owe you money for royalties. And Bing said, what? He said, well, I've been making surfboards with your label on them. So, can we make an arrangement? And so Bing said, sure, no problem. Let me see your work. Bing was impressed with Matt's work. The rest is, as they say, history. I'd like to bring up now the man that made it all possible from the get-go, Bing Copeland.
I'd like to thank the Academy. And the truth be known, speaking of the Oscars, as beautiful as Chris Del Moro is, she is not the long-haired, bearded guy who won the Oscar. Sorry, guys. Most of these guys have told everything that I was going to say anyway. I'm not going to tell you the whole story of my life because it's in the book. And Paul tells it better than I could tell it. So I'll tell you a couple of things that I feel real fortunate about. And major, first one is I feel real fortunate that I grew up in an era that I did. It was right after the Second World War. It was in the late 40s. 48 and 49 is when I started hanging on the rail of the Manhattan Beach Pier, watching the older guys surf the big heavy balsas with redwood planks and the plywood cook box boards. And as I was standing there one day, this scrawny little skinny kid came up and stood next to me, and we were both watching the waves, and we got to talking, and he introduced ourselves to each other, and turns out it was Greg Noel. And he smelled a little bit like anchovies because at the time he was the big boy on the end of the pier. But we watched the older guys surf, and it was really intriguing to us. The boards were like, close to 100 pounds, 90 to 100 pounds. And you have to remember, this is before Hobie was building commercial boards, or Belzy was building commercial boards. There really wasn't anything. There was Pacific Homes made planks. Eventually Bob Simmons started making some boards. But at that time, Dale Belzy was the lifeguard on the pier. And one day, he came up to Greg and I and he said, "What's going to try to board? I got a little board down on the beach there you can try." So we said, yeah. We went down, and it was about 8 foot long board, weighed about 80 pounds. We had to drag it through the sand. And we took it out, and after hurling too many times, we finally caught a wave and rode it to the beach and stood up. And that was the moment that I knew that I really wanted to be a surfer. And it wasn't long after that, we all, Belzy included, started riding Simmons boards. And to go to Santa Monica to Simmons shop and buy a board was for a whole nother story. I mean, it was, he built maybe 3 or 4 boards a week at the most, and he only would build them for people he liked. He was a little different. At the time he built my first board, he had Joe Quigg and Matt Copeland were doing the fiberglassing for him. This was the first fiberglass boards actually in existence. They were the polywood top and bottom, styrofoam in the middle, the first composite surfboards really. And I remember, I was like 14, I had a 10-foot long, 24-inch wide Simmons board that I could stand up on and not get my feet wet. It was almost like a stand-up paddle for me at that time. And I've been around resin and fiberglass all my life, but I still can smell that first board, the sweet smell of that resin. It's in my brain. I'll never forget it. We rode those boards for a couple of years, and we would surf. This will blow some young minds. We would go surfing with the older guys. That's the only way we could go. It was obviously years away from being able to drive, so whenever we could wheedle them into taking us on a surf trip, we got to go. We got to go to Malibu, Rincon, Huntington, San Onofre, Windansea, all these different places. This is when we were 13, 14 years old. And we could go to any of those places and surf with 3 or 4 guys, anytime. Weekend, anytime. There was no crowds, just none. In fact, I would say that Greg and I, if we weren't the only two, we were 2 of only a handful of surfers our age on the whole West Coast. I mean, there just weren't any in those days. So that's special to me that I lived through that era. When I graduated from high school in 1954, a bunch of us took the lifeguard test, which is the next easiest job in the world. And so we lifeguarded for the next 2 summers, and we'd always heard from the older guys that had made trips to Hawaii about how great Hawaii was. So we knew we wanted to go to Hawaii. So 6 of us in 1955, after lifeguarding for the summer and fall, we went to Hawaii, started in Waikiki, rented a place, and for a week or 10 days, we surfed Waikiki, just us, nobody around. We could surf 4 times a day, and it would never be crowded. And we're on Belsey boards by this time, Belsey also boards. And as luck would have it, during those days, our country had a draft system, and we didn't want to be in the Army. So when we were in high school, we joined, Rick Stoner and I joined the Coast Guard, went to meetings and this and that. And when we started running out of money at the end of 1955, we enlisted into the Coast Guard and got to stay in Hawaii for the next 2 years. And I'm very grateful that I got to spend my military time between wars surfing every day.
Hey, don't tell them everything that's in the book.
I'm not.
Okay.
Where was I?
1954.
Oh, okay. While we were in the Coast Guard, we surfed out on the left side. Being able to do that was my favorite. And while we would surf there every day, we met a family that had a yacht in the Hawaii Harbor. And when we got out of the Coast Guard, they invited us to go on a trip across the Pacific with them. So we sailed to Tahiti, Moorea, Bora Bora, Samoa, Fiji, and on Thanksgiving Day of 1958, we surfed for the first time in New Zealand, where they didn't have surfboards yet. They didn't have modern day surfboards. They had big, long, 14-foot surf skis that were this wide and they had elevated paddles. They were enchanted with our boards. So we scrounged up some materials in town and right on the beach with some styrofoam, and we didn't have much tools. We had a saw and we had a cheese grater we used to shape with. we made about 6 or 8 boards. And I remember shaping them and going, they had hung around at the shop all this time helping, help cutting templates and sanding fins for him and return work. So I thought I could do this. So we came home, we got out of the Coast Guard, we had to come back, out of the yacht trip. We came home from that for many years so that we could keep our lifeguard jobs. So while we were doing that, Rick and I started making boards in my mother's garage. And ultimately we got kicked out of there for making too much noise and smell and whatever. And I opened my first little shop, and that's how it started. That went, in the beginning, I was making mostly boards for my lifeguard friends. Many of them were here. And some of the Haggerty Surf Club members were big supporters of me in those days. So I owe them a big debt. And that's what got me started. And then it just kept growing from there. We started getting orders, and then pretty soon, in 59, in 60, when the Gidget movie came out, and the first Surfer Quarterly magazine came out, the East Coast and the Gulf Coast, we all got excited about surfing, and so before we knew it, we were hosting wars, and the thing just kept growing and growing and growing. Thank you. I'm not going to talk about the Great Period, which was mid-70s till about the 90s. The longboard business went in the tank. The older guys couldn't ride shortboards. They had jobs. They quit. All of a sudden, we had this big factory, and there wasn't enough business to go around. It was also the hippie era, psychedelic era, and it became cool to have a backyard board, and not cool to have a board that manufactured globally. So I entered the business, and a lot of the major manufacturers went out. I chose to license my surfboards out to Larry Gordon, my good friend in San Diego. And I moved to Idaho and started another business up there that's been good to me. And everything went fine for a while. I got into catamaran sailing and windsurfing, and in the mid-1980, I bought some property in Baja. And several years later, we discovered we could drive about 20 minutes down the road and we could find fun surf. And so we were doing that, and it was one day in the year 2000, I was on this deserted beach. I just got out of the water changing my trunks. So the rental car drove up with 2 short boards and two young guys. And it turns out that was Matt Kalani. And we started talking. I liked him right away. He said he'd like to build my boards. The story's a little longer than that, it tells you. He said he'd like to build my boards, and so with Mike Eaton's okay, who was building my boards at the time, we took the board building back to Hermosa Beach. And Matt, for several years, worked on the brand and duplicated some of our models, and his quality was great. I was real pleased with it. One day, Hap Jacobs, who was working in the same factory, introduced Margaret Yao to Matt Kalani. Margaret was Hap Jacobs' surf team gal. And a romance developed. And you can see the results. Margaret came into the company with her promotional and business skills, and combined with Matt's quality and craftsmanship and ability to run a factory, was sort of make a fantastic team. And I love them very much, but I feel like they're my own children. So that's about all I have right now.
The last word is, buy Bing's book. There's more. But wait, there's more. Really. That's what we always say, right? So I believe the books are on sale tonight. I believe that there'll be a percentage of the sales that will go to the Surfing Heritage and Culture Center. And I'm sure that Bing and I will be happy to sign for you that we're going to be this is not an infomercial or a commercial. Or even spam.